Hey guys, just finished watching Doom Patrol, season 1, episode 4, Cult Patrol. This episode just leaves me kind of speechless, just because it's such a weird episode. We have Willoughby Kingling, this new weird character that just shows up, and he's just kind of really interesting to see. He's kind of like and it straight up says in his like wiki page here, like it says, he's straight up like a dirtier, angrier, and more drunk version of John Constantine. Yet he is not John Constantine, so I think that's kind of really interesting. It sounds like he was even created in the comic books when the writers were not allowed to use Constantine or something like that. So I think that's kind of interesting, and that's kind of cool seeing him here. I think it's kind of interesting character to see, and I like that he's a little bit more of a dark version more adult version of John Constantine. I kind of like that. And I think it's kind of interesting to see as to where things kind of go with him. We also have Elliot Patterson, who's kind of like this. I guess he is the book, and he's going to destroy the world when these the cult of the unwritten book and the candle maker kind of going to read them, and it kind of unleashes everything into the world and stuff. And I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go. On the face of it, this kind of feels like a filler episode, because it's kind of diverting from the whole storyline of trying to find the chief and stuff. But I think we only have, not sure how many episodes we have left, or how many episodes we're supposed to be getting. Probably around 10, 13. I think, what does it say here on IMDb? 13 episodes, so yeah, probably around that. I think that's going to be interesting to see as to kind of where things go, and it looks like from the trailer for the next episode, it looks like it's going to be coming. There'll be, the way things end in this episode obviously leaves it open to the next episode to continuing the storyline with the cult of the unwritten book and everything. I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go and see how it kind of ties into the chief and stuff, especially since Kipling, he knows the chief and stuff, so I think that's going to be interesting to see as to kind of their history and stuff, and I think it's going to be interesting to see as to where things go there. Hey, also, there's a funny part there. We see that he has some of Janis Joplin's dental floss, and it's magical and stuff, and I think that was kind of funny. I think that was kind of really interesting to see, and it was kind of funny, just a funny note and stuff. I think that was really a funny thing for the thing like that, and I think that's kind of fun to see more things like that. Janis Joplin's dental floss and other old celebrities, something like that, could be worth magical or something. It could be kind of fun bringing things in like that. We see Cliff and Jane get sucked into the portal and stuff. It's out of the priest's hands and stuff, and I guess looks like based on the trailer for next episode, it's kind of like that snow globe that was on the priest's desk. I think that was kind of interesting there, especially when they were kind of shown how they see each other, and Jane sees him as all bloody. He sees himself as, Brandon Fraser, and all that stuff was kind of really interesting, is playing with all that and the relationships between the two of them. It's kind of fun to see and fun to play with. So I think that's kind of interesting. I know she has like 64 different personalities. I feel like we've only seen like a handful of them so far. So I'd like to really see all 64 of them by the end of the season. So we're only episode 4 of 13. So we have just less than like 9 episodes left. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. But I really would like to kind of see, since they establish a number, I'd like to see all of them at one point. Maybe in one episode it would be interesting to see her just gotta start rifling through them type thing, and they're all fighting for control. But I think it would be interesting to see, and they wish they had done it from the beginning, is just stick with every episode show us a new character, or every episode show us more new characters. And so by the end of the season, I don't know, if we're gonna repeat, because we keep repeating same ones. We've seen Jane, we've seen Hammerhead, we've seen Baby Doll, we've seen the one who talks and has like the words come to life and become weapons. The teleporter, we've seen there twice. I'd like to see them, I'd like to see every episode new powers. Every time she gets attacked, we've seen the same powers come up, and that would make sense and stuff. But I'd like to see her a little bit more in control, where she's like, every time she gets angry, a different power, a different person, something completely different. I think that would be quite interesting to really kind of show us all of her. So I feel like we've only seen maybe 10 of them if we really count them all. But I'd like to really get to know all, or at least get to see all 64. I think that'd be really cool by the end of this show. But we'll have to wait and see as to where things go with that. So you find out the thing inside of Negative Man is tortured inside of him or something like that, or it's unclear. Like we see the chief, an old video recording that the spirit inside of a Negative Man is trying to show him that the chief is talking to him, and he went into this machine. It's unclear if did the machine torture him, or it sounds like the spirit's being tortured inside of him when it's inside of the Negative Man and stuff. And I think that's kind of interesting, dealing with that relationship and playing with that as time goes on. So I think it was really cool. There's some cool scenes with Cyborg using his proton cannon, although it was kind of lame that he was like, oh, I gotta, it uses up too much power, gotta recharge and all that stuff. So that was kind of, I get the idea they can't have him always being overpowered with like a huge blaster on his arm, but I think the idea, if they kind of, it just seemed like we can't use too much CGI, we kind of simplify this scene, so we have to cut down the CGI use. It just seemed a bit out of place, and like it was written in there just to kind of save in the CGI budget and stuff, which was kind of disappointing. But it would be interesting to make him like, okay, yes, it does use up a lot of power to use that, and it would make sense that it would. He needs to keep the power that's kind of keeping him, probably he has his pieces that are, working his organs and stuff. But it would be interesting to see him like, just plug himself into the outlet, and, he wakes up and like, he could supercharge himself, not in like super fast, but like, 10 minutes will give him another, 4 hours worth of charge or whatever, and that would be interesting. So it's like, he does have a limitation. It's not unlimited power, but it's not, super kind of, it's not just an easy tool for them to use to kind of like, oh no, he ran out of power type thing. And just hopefully they don't kind of use that too often. It just seemed a bit kind of, let's save on the budget and the CGI budget, because we don't want to CGI his proton cannon for too long. So that was just what I kind of got out of that. But it really was cool seeing the other guy and standing next to him with like a fire sword and stuff. That was just really cool. And these are the things that they should do more with Constantine over on Legend of Tomorrow, and I think that's really something that they should kind of learn from here. I think that would definitely be kind of cool to see more of him, and it would be quite interesting to see the two of them meet up at some point, especially if the rumored Constantine show. Would be interesting to see him joining there, but I doubt that they would ever see that, because these two shows, these two universes so far seem very different. This dark, realistic, a little bit more realistic and adult, universe versus the Arrowverse. I mean, it's kind of adult too there, but like, a bit more serious on this universe. I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go. And we end the episode with the portal, the eye opening. So I think that'll be cool to see as to where things go with all this in the next episode. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Where do you think things are going? Do you know anything about the cult of the unwritten book? And let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.